All right, thanks for tuning in. So glad you're here. We're gonna start a day in the shop. I'm Jimmy, we're making it work if you're new. You haven't seen my videos yet. Most of them are me spending a day at work, doing what I can to get people back on the road and earn a living. Come in early, open up the shop, because I'm the old guy. I see it as my job, and get things going. Hey, let's put some clips in right here so you'll know what kind of cars and jobs we might do in today's video. F150, Hyundai Accent, Cadillac. Got oil leaks, customers waiting. All right, so now you know what's going to happen in this video. I still don't know yet. We got quite a few cars out in the parking lot waiting on me to get opened up. 8 o'clock we start. It's about 7:15 right now, but we're going to finish getting this place open up, get in that shop, try to learn a thing or two, and have some fun. We always do that. Well, let's get to it. Make sure you stay tuned. Buckle up. It's going to be a fun ride. Rowdy Dowdy, the only dad's car club. Heck yeah. We got broken down Dodge Dakota, and we got a Ford F150. AC only works intermittently. I think we put an engine in this guy's truck. I'm gonna find out why his AC works intermittently though. How about that? 2015 F150 with a fresh EcoBoom engine in it. 190,340 miles. Oh, that new engine runs good. I'll tell you that much.
Improve their scores.
I know.
They say they're
I know. That's not what I wanted. I wanted to shut off. How do you do that? You guys know? Any of my sound people out there? Let's go like this.
No. We just don't live in a fantasy world.
There you go. Now it's just you and me hanging out, fixing cars. Uh-oh. Transmission shifter's so confusing. Fuel level low. Yeah. Okay. Man, it smells pretty bad. Appearance wise, I'm gonna say 4 in the love rating, maybe a 5. What do you think? Should I be generous? I'll say 5. Let's start the day off generous. 1.5 coming right up. The problem is it really smells bad. Work truck maybe? I don't know. Is what it is. We're gonna get the machine on her and see what kind of pressurization we got, and then we'll get an idea whether we're dealing with low freon or an electrical problem or something, because he says sometimes it works great, sometimes it don't work. Could even be a fan, right? If the fan don't work, the AC don't work. But I didn't get that much information, so could also be a Paul Harvey job. We might have to call him up and see what he thinks. Man, the fuel level's really low. The gauge is pinned at no fuel. Okay, hopefully it doesn't shut off any second. Let's roll the machine over. I'm going to say from these pressure readings that it works sometimes, like when it's only 68 degrees out, but when it's 90 it doesn't, because it's low on freon, refrigerant, R134A, whatever you like to call it. So now we're going into finding the leak mode. I'm going to use my cool glasses and a combination of this light and see if we can find some dye. They like to leak in the corners if they're gonna. It's best to do this in a dark room if you have the ability to have all the lights and doors closed and stuff. It helps, but I'm gonna look around, see if we can find something. And if I find something, I'll show you. You see the tiniest little hints of yellow dots here and there, but nothing. Usually it'll be accompanied by like a wetness, like an oily area. That's what we're looking for. All right, put a little bit of dye oil in it and a little bit of refrigerant, and I think we're going to see how long it lasts. It looks like someone has done some AC work. I don't know if we did or someone else, but I see little tiny traces of dye on the gaskets and stuff, which only means that someone did some work and it's not 100% clean. I don't see a big wet stain. This stain here looks like it was from either the trans cooler, oil cooler, whatever this is, or this. And someone's put a new bracket in here and all kinds of stuff. You can see the new engine. I think Joe did the engine. Now you can see the new engine. Brand new. I mean, like it was done like 4 or 5 months ago. So anywho, a little bit of refrigerant. We got good pressures. Should be cold inside. They're talking to him right now. I'm just going ahead with it to make sure the air is going to work and all, and then we'll see what we're going to do with this. Could have an evaporator starting to leak too. Anything's possible. 200,000 miles. Stop being silly. It's going to run out of gas. Let me shut it off. And I think we'll be done with this for a little while, but who knows? I don't know yet, so I can't even tell you. Show you what I found. We've worked on it quite a bit here, but it's definitely lost refrigerant a couple of times. Let's see if I can show you guys what I see. If that shows up on camera in there. It's really hard to see back there, but you can see the AC drain as a tube sticks out of the firewall, and there's a yellow line underneath it. So it's got a slow leak from the evaporator. So we know where it's going, and now we just got to see if they want to fix it. It's about 6 or 7 hours labor, plus evac and recharge, so it's like 8.5 hours labor. It can be a little pricey. He's put a bunch of money in this truck though. Apparently the condenser's been done, engine, a couple of rusty brackets were replaced, the hood latch, looks like the horns are new. I think I might have done the horns, seems familiar. Got a fairly new battery. So let's see. Me and Rob put another door handle on the Hyundai. Remember I put a door handle on the other day because it broke? The donor part was defective, so we put another one on it. 2013 Hyundai Accent. Customer says I put all new injectors, coils, and spark plugs in January. My check engine light's on. It's really annoying me. Maybe you can figure it out. Well, maybe I can. 121,680 job security light miles. Nice clean car, actually. It's at least a 7, maybe an 8. I don't know. Can't hold it against them that it's a little economy car. Should be generous. Let's go 8. Let's also plug in the V-Diag tool, and we'll diagnose the V. That's what we do around here. See why that pesky money-making light's on. Very slow this week. Maybe they know I'm going on vacation next week and they're trying to take it easy on me, but I'd rather feel more productive and get some things done and fix some cars and stuff. But we'll make it work, don't worry. Automatic scan. Whoa, that thing is flying through there. All right, we'll let this talk a second. Shouldn't take too long. Only shows 11 possible modules. And if it gets one that doesn't talk, it'll take a second. It does that, but definitely seems better since I did all the updates. Boom. ABS and engine control. Knock sensor 1 circuit range performance bank 1 active. P0326. First thing, these things have a lot of problems with those, and sometimes they're not even bolted in the right place. I think I showed you one of these about a month or so ago. Someone had worked on it, forgot to put it on the block, so they bolted it to the intake manifold, and that's not where they go. What happens is people don't realize, if you know how these knock sensor things work, they're designed to protect the engine from detonation and crazy stuff like that. Like if you use really cheap gas, it lets the computer know, hey, the engine's knocking, pull some timing out. It'll pull timing out. And if the knock continues, then it knows, hey, there's something wrong, and it'll flag a code. But if you hook it up in the wrong place, these things also test the knock sensor. And you don't even hear it. It's not discernible to you. While you're driving, the computer will increase the timing until it hears detonation and back it off on occasion to test those circuits. So when you don't put it back in the right place, you also get codes because it's not working. It's going to test it. So I'm going to pop the hood, look around under there, see if they've got one in a silly location, and I'll also look for service bulletins on this particular year and model. Maybe there's some kind of an update or potential problems with the sensor or something like that. Updates for Peugeot and Citroen, got to keep them up to date. Not really, but I just don't like the little red dot that says updates pending. So now it's all up to date. All right, there's a service bulletin here. ECU update, that's the key. So it's probably what it needs. Someone has definitely, I can see in the intake, someone's had the intake off, and looks like the knock sensor's back where it goes. If the ECU update's been done, it probably just has a bad knock sensor. They do go bad on these, but the programming is the most important thing right off the bat. So that's got to be done. You can see the software part numbers, or they call it a ROM ID. It starts with AN, DN, and on the new one it starts with EN. I think the next page would be similar. BF, DF, then it starts with EF. Same thing down here, all BF and DF, it starts with EF. So what I want to do is, I want to use my scanner to see what ROM update it has. It should be in read ECU information. So right now it has GGRBDNU6, so it hasn't had the update done. So that's first. Yeah, DNU6 PS04C00. We might even find it in here. C00 there. I think, oh, this is a 2. U6PS04C. U6PSO. There it is. This is what it has right now. This is what it should have. If the update was done, it would show me this one. So it might have to go to the dealer. We do have a third-party programming box we use, like a Jackrabbit kind of thing. You know, they pay all the subscriptions and stuff. You contact them, pay them a fee. They do the VIN programming for you with their remote box we have in the office in there. So we're either going to do that. The dealership only pays their poor bastards that work there. I mean, poor mechanics that work there. I'll show you what it says. Pretty funny. I think I printed it out, didn't I? Oh, here it is, right on the first page, silly. This is what they pay their mechanics. Their mechanics have to pull this car around, find it in the parking lot, drive it into the shop, hook their scan tool up, get them talking, go into read ECU information, look for the software update. Then they have to perform the software update, verify it worked with a road test and that kind of thing. If it has a dual clutch transmission, the manual automatic, then they have to do a relearn for that. At the very least, you got to turn the key off, wait 30 seconds, turn the key back on, verify there's no codes and that kind of thing. And it pays 0.3. So they get roughly 15 minutes to do all that. So, and then people wonder why it might not be done quite right, and mechanics are thieves. So the actual thieves, I'm not going to name any names, but all right, enough about that. That's just a little behind the scenes intel. This needs an update, so I'm going to go let them know up front. We'll see what happens if we go any further, or send them to the dealer for 0.3. All right, Joe's covered up. He's got brakes and rotors and electric struts. Bill's doing major services on a AAA truck, and I got a 56 Ford. So got oil leaks. Customer's waiting. So we're gonna fix his 56 Ford while he waits. Oh, it's nice and clean inside. All original, man. This is back when cars were art. I mean, this is just a 4-door family sedan. And it's freaking beautiful. I mean, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, I suppose. Key's on the wrong side. That's all right. I think it's going to be this little square guy in the Fords. Back when Ford used a one-sided key. I think they changed it because they were like, GM went to one-sided keys. We got to use a two-sided key now. We can't do it the same. Beautiful car. Look at this interior. This is like a 9. If it was a little cleaner, I'd give them the old 10s, which they're rare. Please don't touch. All right. Give it a little gas. Crank it up. Oh, yeah. Running like a champ. I'm going to just pull on the alignment rack and see if we can find out what's leaking. He's hoping it's an oil filter gasket, so we know it's not that. Usually on these it's rear main seal, but once we get a look, we'll know better. I'm just glad I'm here, and next week, if it came in, one of these guys would have to do it, and I don't want anyone else have to do that, man. These guys get all uncomfortable and upset, which is why I get most of these, because I don't mind. I like old cars. Hard to make good money repair them, but it's fun to do. I do it for the pleasure, not so much the money. Oh, jeez. Whew. That was hard to get detached. I thought I ripped my finger off for a second. Got a late model EFI 5-liter. That's why it runs so good. And that air box would bother me though. It's just me. I want this thing straight for some reason. I want to make a bracket that straightens it out. Let's see what's leaking. Like a lot of these old cars, what's not leaking? Although this is a later model engine, it's still an older engine. This is like 1990 or something. The oil gauge sender adapters are leaking a little bit. The looks like the chrome oil pan is leaking a little bit. That's like high tack. Thought it might be oil. There's definitely oil coming off that oil sender unit line, and the rear main seal is wet up here, but that's not that bad. I think what he's really concerned about is this. Now the problem is I could try to snug it up and things could go really off the rails bad, and he won't be leaving until we get a kit for it, or I can have him get a kit for it and then we can try fixing it and swapping parts around and snugging things up once we have parts here to be able to take care of it. But it looks like the oil pan is really close to that cross member. My goodness, I can't. My pocket screwdriver. That's close. You know what I'm saying? The bushings blasted. Cool rack and pinion steering conversion. That is nice. That's how he's got power steering in it too. I hope that's a fuel line. What is that? Yeah, it's a fuel line because it's got a compression fitting on it. As long as it's not brakes, that's when the pressure's a little high for compression fittings, although I've seen them on brakes too. Looks like a little bit of a rack here, nothing terrible. Typical old car stuff, you know, when you have one of these cars, you're gonna see spots on the ground, but if this one's leaving a puddle, that's the one I would be concerned the most with. I used to do these exhaust systems, but all in one piece. Looks like they did this in like 4 or 5 pieces on each side. Still looks pretty clean though. I'm not going to criticize it. All right, let me let them know, and we'll see what happens with this car. All right, I just went out and popped the shifter cable end on that Cadillac. So we're going to get it in the shop now. I should be able to move it. See if we can fix that cable, or we got to replace it. Tow truck driver bounced this thing off the flatbed. That's probably not good for him. This is the long Cadillac. This Cadillac Suburban, basically. I think they call it like an EXV or some crap like that. I'm crazy. I mean, nice car though. Whoop, someone didn't finish their water. They must be on vacation. I see stuff in the back. Well, maybe they're moving. Battery's getting weak. People keep turning the key on and off and not running it. So what I'm gonna do is hope that I can get it around to the left in the back. Yeah, it worked. Nice. I hope Kyle don't think he's going back there, because I'm stealing that drive on the back. Sorry about your luck, bud. Tow truck driver could have laid underneath it and popped the cable back on the pin just like I did, I guess. But sometimes they just don't wanna. I can understand that. Kind of weird day today. A lot of odd things going on. Slow. Anytime it's slow, like you guys know, I've said before, probably once or twice. When it's slow, the work gets weird. Partly because they don't turn anything away, trying to get whatever they can in the shop, and partly because it just stands out more than, you know, when you're getting all kinds of repairs and you're only getting weird ones because you're slow. It seems like it's all you're getting because you are. Let's the shifter's still working, it's fixed. Make sure we're on the rack good. Give this thing a how many miles are on it, you know? Did you see? 207,780 miles on this poor thing. Did I give it a love rating? I'm gonna say 8. I was gonna go 7, but it's got child seat. That's a bonus point. I always put the windows down, especially on these weirdo, these Cadillacs. Oh, they love auto locks on the doors and cool stuff like that. Oh, fancy umbrella. This is the Kissimmee pattern. Everyone in Kissimmee, all the ladies in Kissimmee, they love that stuff. Especially in the Walmart. Let's get this thing up in the air before I get in trouble. Got free tools in our tie rod sockets and stuff if anybody wants them. Got oil containers. Whatever you need, we got it. We got messy floors. The place is nasty out here. I haven't been out here in a while. This is where it's broke. It's not supposed to be like that. I think we have some repair kits. That way you don't have to buy the whole cable. I think we got some that'll fit that. Just dry, they dry rot. Turns into like wax. Typical plastic fail. GM's not exempt from it either. It's plastic. It's only going to last so long. Trying to get the old pieces out and get an idea what it looks like in the hole there. All right, I think I know what one it takes. Let's see what we got. All right, now the hard part is getting this to squeeze into that, and these are about the best, I think. I got a couple pairs of bars with me. Oh, gravity check. You got to deform it quite a bit to get it to go. This hose tool, made for crimping off vacuum lines and coolant hoses, seems to work okay. Doesn't chew up the bushing. And kind of seems to be in there. I'm just a little nervous about if this one's going to fit quite right. Because it's a judgment call. You know, you're trying different bushings and seeing what ones fit, what ones don't. Got like 4 different kinds of pliers, just in case. Knipex shifter cable pliers. Doesn't seem to want to go, but I haven't given up yet. I'm gonna have to have them order me one. I'm trying stuff we have in stock, but when they're gonna work, it'll be a little bit of a bear to get in there, and it'll go on there pretty good. This one's not quite right. It's too thick inside to go over this little ledge. There's a little tiny ridge in there it's got to fit onto, and it's too wide. Let me have them order some, and we'll play with it some more. Oh yeah, customer left it. That's a copper line, I noticed too, not plastic like I thought. So I'm less leery about tightening it some more. The line was jiggling, and I thought it was a cracked plastic tube. And once I cleaned it off a little bit more, I could see better. Cleanliness is next to godliness. And now I'm going to clean everything up. We're going to run a little bit, see what else is going on. He was asking about his neutral safety too. He said it starts in gear. I said, well, it probably hasn't been wired into the starting circuit to stop that from happening. It's got an AOD transmission, I think. You guys tell me. Could be a C6, I'm not sure. But I think it's overdrive. So we'll see if we're going to mess with that. I'm not sure how much he wants to spend. He needs lower control arm bushings more than any of that stuff. Let's see that one. Needs them all. All the lower control arm bushings. I didn't look at the uppers yet. He didn't even ask about suspension stuff. Just about the shifter, the oil leak, and he said when he's downshifting coming to a light, feels like a downshift's kind of harsh. Is there anything we can do about that? I said, send you to a transmission shop. Could be TV cable. This thing has a aftermarket setup, and that's a matter of fine-tuning, tweaking. It's got this, there's a lock screw here, and it's way past the threads. So it could be that needs to come down a little bit. I don't know. But I told him we could play with it, but it's time involved, you know. If I spend an hour playing with it, it costs an hour. If I spend 4 hours, it costs 4 hours. So how bad does the harsh downshift bother you? That's basically the bottom line. So anyway, let's run this thing. Make sure this oil leak, the big oil leak, is the only one he was concerned about for now. He did leave it with us, so we'll mess with it and make sure we at least fix that. The rest of it, that's kind of up in the air. The oil's full. I already checked that. I wonder if that's factory. It's got a lot of Phillips screws in it. Probably is. Beautiful car. Let's hit the parking brake just in case. I'm gonna let it run a few minutes, see if it's dripping at all. Dry as a bone. That's what we want to see. Supposedly that's a direct fit bushing. I don't know if I feel the optimism they do up front, but we'll see. I sure am going to try. I sure am going to try. Well, we're already in a conundrum because that little bar they have on there, this one might go on easier this way. I don't know, what do you think? Am I taking a risk? Could all go bad. The exhaust is in my way. Uh-oh, something's happening. Don't go anywhere. Stay glued to your TV set. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's about to go down. Uh-oh. I don't think that's on all the way yet, but we'll keep struggling. Trying. These bushings are a little pain in the patootie. You buy a shifter cable, they already put that in for you. I'm gonna get some lubricant spray on there and we'll see what happens. It's supposed to fit perfectly, but I'd say it fits okay. Try to work it in there a little bit. Nope. It's not gonna work, I don't think. Interesting. Trying to work this in because there's a little ridge inside here and there's a little notch and a pin. Now if I can get those two to shake hands, it might work. I just don't like the way it feels, but it looks kind of like what the OEM ones look like. I think it's just distorted and I gotta get the distortion out of there. It doesn't pop off so easy anymore and I can move the shifter shaft with it, so I think we'll be okay. I'm gonna let it kind of settle here and go get something to eat, and maybe it'll kind of relax itself back into shape because I really had to distort it to get it in there. I pushed it in from the front and flared the back out again. Very odd. I wouldn't go in forward. I think we'll be alright. We'll let it sit a minute and come back to it. Uh-oh, there it goes. I guess we're not fixing it. That's a bummer. Can't have no paw prints on this pretty little Escalade ESV. Extra special vehicle. Let's try to shift her out. See, I couldn't tug it off, gently trying to pull it off. I'm gonna put her in gear and out of gear a few times and see how that goes. And you know, shake the vehicle and all the stuff that would happen going down the road and that kind of thing. And we'll make sure this isn't gonna give the customer trouble. And then if everything works out good with it, we'll find something else to do. It'll be done. But we won't be doing that Equinox. They took it out of here. Felt kind of bad. That vehicle was so rough. So maybe they're going to fix it themselves or something. All right, let me play with this a little while. When we come back, we'll be in something else. All right, I got the gas pedal held down at WOT. That's mechanic speak for wide open throttle. And I'm going to check the TV cable for him. He wants to check into that stuff and see if we can get it to shift a little bit. His complaint is harsh downshifting. But what happens if the TV cable is not right? It will cause late shifting, or it'll shift too early and it'll downshift a little harshly. But these things have governors in the tail shaft that control shift points up and down based on your rear end gearing and things like that. So there's a couple things we can look at for him, and that's what we're going to do now. He doesn't seem to mind spending some money if we can fix it. So first thing I'm doing, I'm going to put a little light on because that way you can see. If I can't see it and you can't, right? So I'm at full throttle right now. So the TV cable is on the left hand side, and the one with the white plastic end, that's the throttle valve cable. The other one is the actual throttle cable. And this is fuel injected, the ignition's off, so it won't spray gas or anything like a carburetor would. Not going to hurt anything. So let's lift it up. What we want to see is that TV cable should be right at the end of its travel with the throttle at wide open throttle. If there's a lot of slack in it still, then it's not adjusted correctly, but it does look like a factory cable. So I don't have high hopes for that being the cause. I'm guessing it's gonna be something to do with this governor or something sticking in the transmission. So it's downshifting a little harshly as if you're still accelerating. We'll find out. What that cable does is similar to what a modern vehicle's throttle position sensor does, but it's only for the transmission. It's telling the transmission, hey, we're at 10% throttle, we're at 50% throttle, we're at 100% throttle. So the transmission knows when to shift, when to downshift, all that kind of thing. So really pretty important that it's right. Now, this is the shifter. This is the throttle valve cable on this arm. Oh wow, I've got a lot more movement to go. So that is not quite right. That is interesting. This bracket could be issue. Yeah, I think that's an after. Oh, it says Ford on it. Huh. You would think they'd have it set right. Maybe there's an adjustment up top. We have to look. Some of them adjust, some of them don't. I don't remember. It's so long since I've messed with Ford stuff. You Ford guys know? Oh, Ford metric. Okay, let's go back up top, see if there's some kind of an adjustment for it. If the TV cable is off, just like a 700R4 GM transmission, if that throttle valve cable is off, the shift points are off because the line pressure is not right. And that means when you're accelerating heavily, clutches can slip and stuff because line pressure relates to clamping force of the clutches inside the transmission. If they're not being clamped well and you're accelerating, the transmission is going to get smoked in no time. So let's see if there's an adjustment. You know what? It might not be a full throttle. Yeah, it's not a full throttle. The gas pedal bottoms out on the carpeting before it's actually a full throttle on the motor. It's hot rod stuff. See where the gas pedal's bottomed out up here? See where the gas pedal's bottomed out on the carpet? It's not bottomed out on the engine. That's why the throttle cable's not bottomed out. So he's got to modify his throttle cable setup to get the pedal to be more aggressive, slightly, I guess you could say. So basically I got to get that adjusted right before I see if the TV cable's adjusted right. It's gonna snowball. That's what we call project vehicles, snowballs. If you guys been watching my project truck videos, you know what I'm talking about. Man, Bill's doing motor mounts on that Toyota. Joe's doing some more brakes. I'm glad to see those guys are doing good. I'm getting ready for vacation. I'm a short timer, so I don't get no work. Oh, I'm working on a 56 Ford. I guess that's work. The starter solenoid has a red with a blue tracer wire on it that actually activates the starter solenoid. The customer is interested in me rewiring his neutral safety, so it only starts in park and neutral. And I'm going to lift it up, take a look at the transmission, see if it has a switch on it for that, because this car originally has a neutral safety down there in the steering column. So if that all works correctly, I could wire his original switch so that the wire that turns that solenoid on will only close the circuit when it's in park and neutral. But the AOD probably has one in it too. There's a 4-pin connector in there, so we're going to look for that. We're still tinkering. I think this switch up here is the neutral safety. Hope that shows up just above the Ford emblem. That should be it. It's wired to something. I gotta find out where his wires go. Do they just terminate them inside that harness? That's gonna make it a little more interesting. It sneaks up here somewhere behind the engine. Alright. That's gonna make it more interesting trying to trace that out. We'll go up and down on the lift a few times till we figure it out. Oh, by the way, I looked at the upper control arms. Those bushings are blasted as well. So it needs upper control arm and lower control arm bushings all the way around. Well, that wiring harness comes up the firewall back here where this butt connector that shouldn't be in an engine compartment is. And there's a red and blue wire. Blinded by the light. This is it right here. I think this is the same wire. A quick test light or a voltmeter on that wire when I crank it will tell me pretty quick. And then if I unplug it from that switch, I can see maybe the switch is stuck and it's letting it start all the time. It just has a little plunger. That little detent arm hits the plunger, and where it drops out, it won't let it make contact. And when it's in park and neutral, it makes a contact, so it'll send a signal to start, right? So you take it out of park and neutral, it's supposed to open and not let it start or crank. It doesn't start the engine, it spins the engine. So technically, it doesn't let it crank. Let me see how I don't know. I'm not sure if I'm looking at all this stuff because I have nothing. They have nothing else for me to do, or if the customer knows he might spend hundreds and hundreds or even thousands of dollars to open up wiring harnesses and stuff. So let's verify that before we dig too deep into it, and we'll see. Ah! Alright, I got it off of there. Now the true test is going to be to let it down, see if it still cranks. If it does, I gotta see if I have to open the wiring harnesses and stuff. If it doesn't crank, then it was quick and easy diag. Has a bad switch. I didn't do that, someone else did that. That's old school paw prints. Let's see. Still cranks. So it's not wired in, it just looks like it is. Alright, now it's getting expensive. Alright, I cleaned up this back pad a little bit. It looked like a grease bomb went off, and it was brake hardware all over the floor. Very unusual. But we got it all out of the way. We pushed this monster truck up here. And we're going to start on this, get that reluctor ring. You got to take the timing cover off right here. Is that better? You got to take this timing cover off. That's where it is, under all those goodies. I'm going to hook the battery charger up too. The battery's stone dead. We'll let it charge overnight. This charger is a smart charger. It'll go down to trickle mode and trickle charge it and try to save that battery. It is a value craft battery, which is basically like the cheapest one you can get, I'm guessing. And then we're going to take this off, try to get in here, see what we can do. They didn't paint the water pump. That makes me a little sad. Should at least paint it black. Okay, 10 millimeter. 10 millimeter. They're all blown out, but see what happens. And then I'll be able to see in there a little better. We got to take the balancer and all that. The brackets I might have to take off, I might not, depends if they bolt to the water pump or I just want them out of my way. We'll decide when we get in a little deeper. Rowdy dowdy. Alright now, settle down. Alright, now I can see in there a little better. Got new bolts on the fan. Alright guys, that's Rowdy Dowdy's coming around. That's where we're going to end today's video. Kind of an odd day. I didn't really do much. We got a few people's cars looked at. He's going to talk to the guy with the old Ford, see if we go further, and we'll be messing with this one tomorrow. So thanks for watching. Talk the like button before you head out, and hope to see you in the next video, because you're awesome. I know you're already subscribed too.